I'm scared of who am I without this person is a big part of the trauma bonded process. Like, how am I going to live without them? What if the next person gets a better version of them? What if I'm alone forever? There's a lot of fears that come up. What are people going to think of me if I'm no longer in a relationship? I'm no longer talking to my family. I'm no longer in this career. There's also a lot of shame-based stuff, right? So that's why going through therapy while a person navigates this space can be a tremendous help, or being part of a support program or something like that, where they understand that all of this feels very normal. But a lot of people feel, because again, remember what narcissistic abuse is. It's the person gets subjugated. They get defined by the narcissist. They don't get to have a separate self, separate from the narcissist. Healing is your individuated autonomous self finally emerging, your preferences, your wants, your likes. I'm not saying you go do everything you want, but that you get to have that. You get to say, you know what, I happen to like, I don't know, fresh tomatoes on my pizza. Could we have that on half the pizza? And that you slowly have people in your life, they'll say, sure, of course we can, versus what kind of dumb, stupid person has fresh tomatoes on their pizza. So before these are, when I say we're doing the taking back of the self, this isn't some big existential journey. Sometimes it's figuring out, what do you want on your pizza? How do you like the thermostat set? What time do you want to go to sleep? Like, all of these things get taken away from people in narcissistic relationships who don't get to have needs, who don't get to have wants, who don't get to have feelings, that you get to cry when tears come up. Some people apologize for crying. Like, what are you doing? This is a reflexive process. You're feeling something. Be with the feeling. So it's a retraining of sorts. I don't like the word victim. I think victim feels too passive to me. I think that because the survivor is somebody who's getting up and fighting the good fight every day, even if it's scraping a survival. Remember, survival is never graceful. Survival is messy. Survival is sleeping on the floor and eating unhealthy things and dirt under your eyes. When you think of what survival is, I always say to people, imagine you've done 30 hours of flight somewhere. By the end of that, you're like, a candy bar is dinner, and you're wearing the same clothes for 3 days, and you're a mess, right? Well, that's like every day for a person in a narcissistic relationship. So survival is strong, but it's messy, and we're not our best selves. When you think about somebody who might be surviving and they don't have enough to eat, right? I'll give you that example. Are you really thinking about long-term financial planning or your aspirations? No, you're like, how am I going to get another meal in my belly? That's what survival is, and that's what the experience of while a person's in a narcissistic relationship and doesn't get it. But I don't consider them victims, because they're getting up every day and they're doing the things. Many people in narcissistic relationships are parenting their children well, and they're getting them off to school, and they're getting themselves to work. And in fact, one way I know narcissistic people surviving in narcissistic relationships are an interesting group. They're like, yeah, no, I'm fine at work, fine when I'm hanging with my kids. It's just when I'm with the narcissist where I start crumbling, right? So it's very, very linked to that person. Whereas in depression, for example, we'd see it would generalize over all areas of life. So there is that sense that that's what survival is. And then it's really getting to be, I say it's from experiencer to survivor to thriver. An experiencer kind of has no idea what they're going through, right? The survivor's like, okay, I got to get through this and I'm going to fight the good fight, but I still don't fully know how to get through this. The thriver has now started giving themselves permission to individuate. They're not going deep anymore. They're not getting into the mud. They no longer have hope that the narcissistic person will change. And that's when we see a person starting to thrive.